medieval Indian history syllabus. How to understand the medieval Indian history and what are the topics to cover in the medieval Indian history. In that point of view, we will come to that medieval Indian history. Originally, it starts from 712 AD to 1707 AD. This period is considered as medieval Indian history. You know that medieval Indian history is dominated by the Muslims. So simply you can call it as Muslim history. Muslim history. Medieval Indian history is a Muslim history. That is major topics Delhi Sultanates and Mughals. And how to understand this and how can we divide the medieval Indian history? Medieval Indian history, it starts with the invasion of Arabs. Invasion of the Arabs. After the decline of Harshavardhana. After the decline of Harshavardhana in the Indian history, so Harsha, he ruled this area. So after the decline of Harshavardhana, this area was under the control of the Badami Chalukyas. Next, same under the control of the Rashtrakutas. Rashtrakutas, they ruled the same area. After the Rashtrakutas, Kalyani Chalukyas, they ruled this area. So these Kalyani Chalukyas and Badami Chalukyas were also considered as Western Chalukyas. Western Chalukyas. So after the death of the Harshavardhana, India broken into pieces. Only Harshavardhana is also contemporary of Badami Chalukyas. Pulakesi II, Harsha fought with Pulakesi II. So Harshavardhana was the last Hindu emperor ever ruled ancient India. After the Harshavardhana, Hindu rulers were disappeared. In this regard, the same period, eastern side, Vengi Chalukyas were ruling. Below that, Pallavas, they were ruling. Pallavas, Cholas. Here, Kalinga Gangas. So these are the South Indian rulers, comes under the early medieval period. All these kingdoms are called as early medieval kingdoms. During this period, North India was under the control of the Rajputs. Rajputs were ruling North India. North India is Rajputs, South India is under the control of these rulers. Yes, coming to this, we can divide for the clear understanding purpose. We can divide medieval India into three parts. That is from 700 to almost 700 to 1707. This area can be divided into three parts. Early medieval period, Delhi Sultanates and Mughals. The early medieval period, it is from 700 to 1200. 700 to 1200, that is both in South India as well as North India. South India as well as North India. In the South India, just now I told to you, there were different kingdoms in the South India. North India, completely it was under the control of the Rajputs. Rajput families. During the Rajputs were ruling South India. Originally around 712 AD, Arabs, they invaded on India. Arab invasions were occurred. So early medieval period, coming to the point of the early medieval period, kingdoms, there were different kingdoms in India. Like the early medieval period. Early medieval India. I already said to you, South India, it was under the control of the different rulers. North India was under the control of the Rajputs. So we have to discuss these kingdoms like Badami Chalukyas, Rashtrakutas, Kalyani Chalukyas. So we have to discuss all these people from 700 to 1200, 700 to 1200 AD. Okay. Here, Badami Chalukyas, Rashtrakutas, Kalyani Chalukyas, Vengi Chalukyas, Pallavas, Cholas. So all these kingdoms comes under the early medieval period. This is South India. This is South India. South India from 700 to 1200. South India from 700 to 1200. This is early medieval period. After this, in the early medieval period, North India, coming to the point of the North India, that is from 800 to North India from 800 to 1200 period, 1200 AD. This period, Rajputs, they ruled India. There were different Rajput families ruled India, different Rajput families. But is that they were the heterogeneous, different Rajputs, heterogeneous rulers, different heterogeneous rulers. Like Rajputs were not homogeneous, Rajputs were the heterogeneous. They belongs to different categories, different races, that is different families, different dynasties. For example, Gurjara Pratiharas, that is one. Second, Paramaras of Malwa, Chauhans, Next to, after the Chauhans, Gahadwalas. After the Gahadwalas, Solankis, Yes, after the Solankis, Palas of Bengal, Senas of Bengal. After this, Tomara kingdoms. So like this, there were different kingdoms. Along with this, Kashmir Rajputs, Loharas and others. Next to Hindu Kush kingdom, Hindu Kush Rajputs, Hindu Kush kingdom. Like this, there were different Rajput kingdoms ruled. All these Rajput kingdoms were heterogeneous, not homogeneous. They were different. These Rajput kingdoms were divided into two groups like Chandra Vamsa and Surya Vamsa. So in this regard, in the early medieval period, in South India and North India, there were n number of dynasties. We have to discuss the n number of dynasties. But among all these, there are few important things. But coming to the point of the 700 to 1200, this area, you will find only 2 to 3 questions for any examination. For any examination, you will find only 2 to 3 questions. That's why this area will be neglected by the so many history faculties. After this, Delhi Sultanates. Second one is Delhi Sultanates. Delhi Sultanates. Delhi Sultanates they ruled from 1206 to 1526. Delhi Sultanates were the Muslims. Before going to the Delhi Sultanates, Muslim invasions, we have to discuss the Muslim invasions. Before going to the Delhi Sultanates, Muslim invasions were occurred, like first Arab invasions. Arabs, 712 AD, Arabs they invaded on India, they occupied Sindh area. After the Arabs, Turks started in India. Turks were the two types, Ghaznavites and Ghorites. Ghaznavites and Ghorites. Turks, there are two types of the Turks. Muhammad Ghazni and Muhammad Ghori. Two people, they invaded on India. Muhammad Ghazni and Muhammad Ghori, coming to this point, Ghazni did not occupy any kingdom. Ghazni, they came to India, he wanted to loot India and he wanted to spread Islam religion in India. But whereas Ghorites, Muhammad Ghori, he came to India, he started the establishment of Muslim power. Because of the Ghori, Muslim power started, that is Delhi Sultanates. That is Delhi Sultanates. Delhi Sultanates, already we discussed that, ruled from 1206 to 1526, this period. Early Turkish rulers that we discussed. Slave dynasty. Slave dynasty was founded by Qutbuddin Aybak. Qutbuddin Aybak. Qutbuddin Aybak, he established this slave dynasty because he was slave. He was a slave of Muhammad Ghori. 5 different families ruled Delhi Sultanate area. 5 different rulers, they ruled Delhi Sultanate period, like slave dynasty, Khilji dynasty, Tughlaq dynasty, Sayyid dynasty, Lodi dynasty. So 5 Delhi Sultanate dynasties ruled. Slaves, Khiljis, Tughlaqs. These 3 were the Turkish rulers. Turkish rulers. Sayyid belongs to the Arab family, Arab tribes. And Lodis belongs to the Afghan tribe. Afghan tribe. First Afghan family ruled India, that is Lodi dynasty. So like this, these dynasties, in the slave dynasty, Iltutmish, Balban, this along with this Razia Sultana, these were important rulers of the slave dynasty. Khilji rulers, Alauddin Khilji is the famous. Tughlaq dynasty, Muhammad bin Tughlaq and Firoz Shah Tughlaq, these 2 are important rulers. Sayyid dynasty, this is not at all important. Just Khizr Khan was the founder of this dynasty. Lodi dynasty, Sikandar Lodi, Ibrahim Lodi are important persons. During the Tughlaq period, 1398, in the year 1398, Timur invasion occurred. Timur, he invaded on India. In this Timur invasion, 1398 Timur invasion, Timur, he invaded on India, he looted completely, he looted India for several money. That means he looted and he, every sources of India were spoiled. He spoiled all the sources. He looted India from Afghanistan. So Timur agents, Sayyids were the Timur agents. Sayyids, they ruled as a Timur agents. That is about the Delhi Sultanates. After the Delhi Sultanate Empire, next to there are some provincial kingdoms during the time of the Delhi Sultanate period. Kakatiyas, Vijayanagara Empire, Bahamani Empire. These occurred in the South India. In South India, especially this Deccan area was under the control of the Bahmani kingdom. Bahmani kingdom. This area was under the control of the Vijayanagara kingdom. Vijayanagara kingdom. This Bahmani and Vijayanagara kingdom established after the Kakatiyas. Originally Kakatiyas they ruled Deccan, this area ruled by the Kakatiyas. So Kakatiyas they ruled from 1000 AD to 1323 AD. This period Kakatiyas they ruled. From the starting of the Kakatiyas period, initially Kakatiyas period, there was no Muslim rule. During the Kakatiyas course of the Kakatiyas period, 1206 Muslim rule started in North India. Because of the Muslim invasions, Kakatiya kingdom was destroyed, that is declined. Kakatiya kingdom ended by 1323 because of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He defeated Prataparudra II. Prataparudra II, he was a last ruler of this dynasty. Kakatiya dynasty. So like that, Kakatiya rule was ended. In the Kakatiyas, importantly, Ganapati Deva, Rani Rudrama Devi, Prataparudra, these two rulers were the important rulers of that period. That we will discuss in the course of that. Next to after the Kakatiyas, as we discussed that Vijayanagara and Bahmani kingdoms were established. During the Muslim rule in North India, that is, North India was ruled by the Delhi Sultanates. Especially in the Delhi Sultanate period, Tughlaq rule period, that is Muhammad bin Tughlaq. During the Muhammad bin Tughlaq period, independent kingdoms, two independent powerful kingdoms were established in South India. These two kingdoms were one is Bahmani kingdom. Another one is Vijayanagara kingdom. Bahmani kingdom and Vijayanagara kingdom. Bahmani kingdom was established in 1347 by Alauddin Hasan Gangu. He established Bahmani kingdom 1347. And Vijayanagara kingdom in 1336, this Vijayanagara kingdom was established by Harihara and Bukka. These two established this Vijayanagara kingdom. So like this Bahmani Vijayanagara kingdoms, these two fought for the Tungabhadra Doab. There is a Doab, Tungabhadra Doab. This is also called as Raisur Doab. Because of the Raisur Doab, these two kingdoms were fought each other. Finally, 1565, with the Battle of Tallikota. Or Rakshasa Tangedi, Battle of Rakshasa Tangedi. That battle ended the Vijayanagara rule in India. And finally, after the end of the Vijayanagara, at the time of the end of the Vijayanagara kingdom, and also before this, around 1500 AD, this Bahmani kingdom was divided into 5 small kingdoms. Bahmani kingdom divided into 5 small kingdoms. Nizam Sahis of Ahmednagar. Second, Barid Sahis of Bidar. Imad Sahis of Berar. Adil Sahis of Bijapur. Adil Shahis of Bijapur, and finally Qutub Shahis of Golconda. Qutub Shahis of Golconda. So these 5 kingdoms, they continued up to nearly 1680, from 1500 to 1687. This period they continued. Because of the Aurangzeb invasions, all these kingdoms were destroyed. All these kingdoms were destroyed because of the Aurangzeb invasions. So in the South India, all these are called as Bahmani kingdoms, are also Deccan Sultans. They are also called as Deccan Sultans. They completely disappeared because of the Aurangzeb invasions. So this is about the provincial kingdoms of that period. After this, coming to the point of the Mughals. Mughals, they ruled from 1526 to 1858. This was the Mughal Empire in India. This Mughal Empire in India can be divided into 2 parts, Greater Mughals and Later Mughals. Greater Mughals and Later Mughals. Greater Mughals, they ruled from 1526 to 1707. This period is considered as Greater Mughals. But Later Mughals, we will discuss this Later Mughals in the modern period. Later Mughals comes under the modern period, modern Indian history. It won't come under the medieval Indian history. That comes under the modern Indian history. So Greater Mughals, first Babur established Mughal Empire in 1526 with the Battle of Panipat, ruled from 1526 to 1530. Babur, founder of the Mughal Empire. After the Babur, his son Humayun came to the throne. Humayun ruled from 1530 to 1540. That was the first spell of the Humayun, he ruled 2 spells. First time from 1530 to 1540. In the year 1540, he was defeated by the Sher Shah. So Sher Shah Suri, he ruled from 1540 to 1545. This period, Suri dynasty was established. After this Sher Shah, Islam Shah, his son Islam Shah ruled. Islam Shah ruled from 1545 to 1553. After the Islam Shah, Muhammad Adil Shah, he ruled. Muhammad Adil Shah ruled from 1553 to 1555. But coming to the point of these three rulers, just wait. Sher Shah, Sher Shah 1545 to 1550. After the Sher Shah, Islam Shah 1550 to 1553. After the Islam Shah, Muhammad Adil Shah 1553 to 1555. So these three rulers are considered as Suri dynasty. These three rulers belongs to the Suri dynasty. Suri dynasty was established by the Sher Shah. After this, whenever Suri dynasty was established by the Sher Shah, next again Mughals they came to India. Mughals, next Mughal ruler Humayun. Humayun ruled from 1555 to 1556, just 1 year, second spell. This is the second spell of Humayun. After the death of the Humayun, Hemu he came to India. Hemu he came to the throne. He came to the power. Hemu. Hemu 1556 only in the year 1556. Just he ruled 6 months. Hemu he ruled 6 months. We can call it as he was a first and last Hindu ruler. First and last Hindu ruler ruled Delhi. First and last Hindu ruler who ruled Delhi. Consider the Hemu. After the Hemu was defeated by the Akbar. Hemu was defeated by the Akbar. Akbar ruled from 1556 to 1605. Akbar ruled from 1556 to 1605. That was the Akbar rule. Long period. Akbar was a great ruler of the Mughal dynasty. After the Akbar, next to Jahangir. Jahangir ruled from 1605 to 1627. After the Jahangir, Shahjahan he ruled from 1627 to 1658. After the Shahjahan, Aurangzeb Alangir. He ruled from 1658 to 1707. Akbar and Aurangzeb, these two were greatest rulers of this dynasty, but both followed different policies. The complete reverse policies of the Akbar was followed by the Aurangzeb. That happened for the decline of Mughal Empire. So like this, all these rulers are the Mughal rulers of that period. During the Mughal period, Deccan Sultans, they were ruling in the Deccan. Deccan Sultans, they were ruling in the Deccan. Those were the provincial kingdoms of that period. Mughal period, provincial kingdoms of the Mughal period. This is about medieval Indian history. All these topics we will discuss one by one in the medieval Indian history. So in the next video, we will discuss about the other dynasties one by one, especially South Indian dynasties. First, we will complete the South Indian dynasties from 700 to 1200. After this, North Indian dynasties. Next to North Indian dynasties. These were especially called as Rajputs. These were the Rajputs. These two, one by one, we will discuss. After this, Arab invasions, Ghaznivide invasions, Delhi Sultanates, Mughals. This is the order of preference. Okay, we will discuss that in the next video. Good luck.